Hello everyone and welcome back once again to Grigsby's War in the East. We're here with the 23rd of November, turn 23. We can see the map changes, 75,000 men extra for us. And my opponent loses a lot of men here, 46,000 at least for this turn. Might have shipped away some armor. That would make sense, I guess. 5,200 units, that's quite a lot. Looking at the losses, Axis lost 35,000, us 82, just looking at attrition alone. Making the losses for the Axis 512, getting them over 500,000 losses here. And for us it's up to 2.5 million men. A lot of men disabled, of course, but yeah. Which brings us to the order of battle for my opponent and me. And we can see there that we're not yet at the point where we have the same amount of forces ultimately, because my opponent has over 7 million total forces, but we do actually have more on map forces at this stage. Looking at the victory points, I took back Zaporozhye and then my opponent took it back again. Getting those points back up to 517. Total men for my opponent did go down by quite a bit last turn, which is interesting. Then total guns, also my opponent took a hit. Total AFVs still going up for my opponent though. Total aircraft, manpower losses did stay marginally the same, so that's it's not that. So that's interesting. Gun losses, AFV losses as well. Somewhat higher, but not really all that high for my opponent, even though I did smack that one tank division. Quite a bit. Manpower pool for my opponent going back up now. So that's interesting too. If we look at reserves, we also don't even have that many forces in reserve there. Alright, so let's just quickly go over the air directives for now, because again we're not going to do a whole lot here. And we have to take a look at the event still, so let's also do that. Afterwards. 7. Whoop, whoop. There we go. Show events. We got Iran is secure. Success of the late summer invasion of Iran by the British and Soviets allows forces to be redeployed from the Transcaucasus. So ground requirement is lower, air as well. My opponent once again is Axis garrison, and the Soviet partisans, nothing else happened there. So let's take a look. My opponent pushed further down. We do have level 1 forts everywhere here now. Can't really get that all that much higher, but I really want to make my opponent work for it here. Over the winter. Of course we still just have ground snow here everywhere. My opponent decided to go in there with cavalry. That attack CV is not even all that high, but I actually think I am willing to try pushing them back a nudge and then retreating. Routed, very nice. And what are the losses for them? 717. Alright, that's sweet. We didn't even lose a tank. They went to 1, huh? I would say that I'll repeat it again, but I don't think that I can do that again. No. I still have to move to Kerch. Let's actually get you to the other side here, and I also want to get some depots going. If I don't already have those. Yes, I do. Okay, so you're gonna be priority 4. I'll put on priority 3. I need that priority to be quite a bit higher here. The one difficult thing, I actually want the 8th Army HQ to go into Yalta. I'll put in there next turn so I can actually get units into the Sevastopol hex. We'll see how my opponent does here. From this side. You're gonna go to the other side here. I'll put these into Novorossiysk on refit. I don't even know where those units came from. Did my opponent attack them? I don't think so, right? No. Did my opponent lose planes here? 5 against this. Interesting. And then on the second one, they also lost 8 planes. Oh, that's what I like to see. I do have some planes there, actually, so that's a good thing. Let's look at this. My opponent is not putting any kind of interdiction there. Might not even do that for the entire winter, if at all, really. This is still level 2 currently, 68. Let's get the cavalry on it and then retreat a bit. Have to go 1, 2, 3 at least. I'll pull back slightly. Now, given that the German infantry is not there yet, I actually think I might be able to hold this even against the Romanian cavalry, just for the moment. And every turn helps, so not complaining there. Interestingly, my opponent has retreated across the river. So I wonder actually how useful it might be to go and retreat there. Let's actually take a look. So 840 would allow me to take those two potentially. And this would do just fine. Basically, for another turn, it would cut off almost this entire front here. And with the cavalry division, I'll continue to destroy this rail line, which is most likely where my opponent gets supplies from. So the further I push this, the better. In that sense. I'm not surprised that he put a unit in Poltava, of course, but I'm just trying to make things as difficult as possible for my opponent here. In terms of supplies. This cannot look good for my opponent if this is the kind of, encirclement we're looking at. I can potentially even grab all of that depending on how things go here. He abandoned all the level 2 fortifications, which I think also cannot be a good idea. And then if I go here, I really want to get a half decent unit. Would have to be... Many of my units here are exceptionally weak by this point, and I know I will not be able to keep them encircled by any stretch necessarily, but yeah, and I also need to re-establish some form of defensive line here, because otherwise things are quite gonna get out of hand there. And I wouldn't want that either. I think I can probably take care of it this way. And I will attach some support units there. Now these guys are isolated again for another turn. Again, as it is, I don't think I'll be able to keep them encircled or anything, but I do think breaking the German lines here is going to be important. I'm going to try this again. And attack. Failed a second time here. Is actually pretty unfortunate, because they might be able to break him out on the next turn even, and not too happy about it. Although I will try to do it again. Did my opponent actually rail in supplies? He didn't. Like, I'm really surprised that these units are supposedly still in good supply, even after all that. Anyway, I can get them to attack there. Well, let's... get these. How are you? 412 is also not good enough, so I would have to get the cavalry only. You could do it as well, another attack. All of these units will have to be assigned to the 21st Army, and then I'll also have to assign them differently, I suppose. 21st. I will have to reassign other units. You already can no longer attack. let's reassign you to the 27th. You're now at 30. You should be assigned to the Bryansk front. Bryansk front. Bryansk front. And you too. $22 in total now. I can still assign something to 4th Army. And then from 4th Army, I will send you over to the Bryansk front. I will have to put new units there somehow. This attack is one big massacre here. Ha! Alright, got it this time. Finally. After yet another attack. There we go, it's nice. This is the first surrender too there. So that's really nice. My opponent does get those units back as a fresh division, I suppose, but that will take quite some time, actually. But yes, that's very neat. I don't think it shows up like... Yeah, I guess you do have it this turn. German losses 43,000 now. Also a lot of guns, so that's also nice. Yeah, I'm very happy about that. Alright. I think that was indeed one of the more important things. Now, not sure what the deal was with that Panzer division. But I don't think crossing here currently is going to be the very best. And I actually cannot attack even from across this side. Attacking across this river is not that great of an idea we've seen so far. But I do dare make an attack here. And then I don't necessarily think that the attack has to be super big. I will really not be able to get in between here. I don't feel like that's going to be possible through any means. There is no river there. I do like this attack, kind of. But I like attacking the tanks a lot too. And those are in a deplorable state. So... Are they close enough? They are not. This is also costing me some tanks, but I do think that taking down those, again, those 16 tanks is going to be worth it. Even if they're Panzer IIs, but they're actually Panzer IIIJs. I'm not complaining there. So that's pretty neat. Now... Can... You attack there. Yes, you can. If I put these here, and it doesn't seem too amazing, but it's okay, I guess. For this, I'd really want another unit, so really like this. I think that's better. Pushing them back. The results are relatively meager, which is fair enough, but that's okay. Ultimately, I'm really looking to weaken my opponent as much as possible for now. And I have thwarted his attack on Kharkov or whatever for the winter, so I'm also quite happy about that. Now, one thing that I also would be looking to do is create another smaller pocket potentially here. Make it very difficult for these guys to go and break them out. I would say that they should be pretty weak and rout fairly quickly. The thing is, I need to push these guys up. And that's easier said than done. They would be at 9. I don't want them to go down. And I mean, in order to achieve that, I could just as well put the cavalry there. Or any unit. Realistically, I could put you in there, but I'd rather put one of those, because then the cavalry can keep moving. And I actually like having the cavalry around there a lot more than anything else. They do have 23rd Infantry, which is rather powerful still. Yeah, you cannot go around to go and attack it. That much is clear. And it is worth trying. Anti-tank regiments are not particularly amazing here, but they might add just a slight amount of firepower. Which is worth something too. Might have even been able to add these. Might actually be able to also damage the Romanians quite a bit, but I guess it did actually work out nicely. Oh. I guess it didn't. Now I really do need to push it back. Wow, I did not expect to see that. It's fine though. that. In a sense, it will be hard enough for them to hold this. I don't think they'll be able to, because the only thing that's holding them is this cavalry. They can just straight up attack and I guess beat them in a sense. I'm getting very greedy here too, like really trying to defeat this entire southern front. I don't feel like it's gonna happen, but it is what I'm trying to do here. Well, like I said, I want to disrupt them as much as possible, and I know they should not be getting like really that great of a supplies, I think. So we'll keep pressing. And hopefully they'll also take a lot of attrition this way. Yeah, even moving in here, it has no purpose. And the same applies down here, so I can't really do anything with that. I also don't see myself attacking there. It is not useful. And I currently do have quite a few units which are in a quite deplorable state. These are okay, but you're also unready. Like, my units are almost as weak as my opponents. Coming from this attack, and I probably will not be able to sustain it for a whole lot longer, but let's go and move some of these around. Kind of looked like the cavalry had 11 movement, but it doesn't. I do have this cavalry on the train. I can use it to plug this gap slightly, and I do think such measures might be highly needed. My opponent did smash this offensive, fair enough. Not that shocked. Keeps my opponent from pushing as well. At least forward. Did my opponent take marginal losses? Not really, I took much heavier losses than he did. Dang, that's crazy. 19,000 for a 212 infantry like that. Yeah, it's interesting because my opponent does still have some cracked divisions there, and I don't even think it's that weird to try and go for some defensive position or whatever along Desna for now. Just kind of see how things develop over there. But what I do like is putting in the cavalry, so... I will most certainly keep doing that too. And then the question is, where do I ultimately move them? Because the cavalry has a lot of movement. There are a lot of tanks here. I mean, my opponent is not going to forfeit Kiev. I wonder if my opponent would be willing to forfeit Chernigov, even for the moment. I can take a look. Yes, he will. Which in a sense is pretty funny, because it means that this counteroffensive is kind of, you know... I have to pull these guys back because 19th Panzer is going to go in and encircle them too anyway. But this counterattack is going all the way to the Desna, potentially even to the Dnieper down here. I have to say that... in those terms, the... I see. He got some armor there, huh? Well, let's actually go here first. Because, well, I don't want to say it would be bad business for this tank here, but this is rather tricky, because I don't want a significant amount of forces to suddenly get encircled. But I'll move down. Having the cavalry raid these areas, I think, is also quite useful, just generally. Even if the attack is unsustainable. Let's go and take a bit of a look. For a lot of these areas, there's actually, I think now, they're called snow. It's not heavy snow yet. And it will not turn into heavy snow yet on the next turn either. There also will not be blizzard, but just regular snowfall. Seems like my opponent indeed also pulled out some armor there. I'd almost say it's worth an attack, but I actually don't think so. Same up here near Leningrad. There's sadly nothing I can do yet. Except, I guess, refit some of my units. 6,800 is the worst currently. So I guess I'll fit in that unit. Then here 7,000, 7,000 is probably the worst for these. 6,500. That's the least. $7,500 seems the worst down here. So that also seems to be better. It's interesting that these are at 7. I mean, they're at 60% TOE. Some of these fortifications aren't really doing all that great, but it's okay, I guess. Really do wonder how the production in armaments does for my opponent. It keeps going up, so I guess it must mean for my opponent they're not really losing a whole lot. This is going down steadily. His supply stores plus pool. And I mean, mine is also going down, but it's a shame I actually can't see my opponent amount of trucks, that is, for example. Because I do think that might play a part too. Well, let's take a little bit of a look at the reserve here. And which guys I can send. There are actually a few tank brigades now that I can send to the map. 2 of them. I got 2 rifle divisions that have enough to be sent to the map too. Guess I'm also happy about that. There's a lot of manpower that's not getting into these infantry divisions just about yet. Which is rather unfortunate, but there is a lot of manpower on the map to be replaced too constantly, so I'm not overly surprised. Still not enough in there either. Oh wow, another tank brigade. I have so many of them that it's a bit hard to see. I'm actually gonna send all of those 74 ones, I think. These, because I think they'll be worth it. I know a lot of these are still empty, but I'll also not have them on refit anymore. Let's just say that for the tank brigades, I'll put them at 70. I think that's probably fair enough. I mean, with this, I'm just trying to get more tanks on and men, I guess, too, onto the map. Which is difficult enough with these horrendous losses that I'm thinking in the south. Like I said, it's a bit unsustainable for me to keep attacking there currently. So I do either need reinforcements there or something else. I'll see how many rifle divisions I can send to the map. As these rifle brigades get filled, it also means I can send more rifle divisions to the map. Which is nice. I can probably send another cavalry. And another one. Guess maybe got a few cavalry divisions there as reserve, but can really get this to 100, so I'll also take artillery to the map if I can do that, even if I can't send rifle divisions currently. I know technically I can wait, but even artillery is very useful because it lowers my opponent's amount. Now that this is a lot lower too, I can send a lot more infantry. At least all the rifle divisions, or quite a few of them. Can't send the mount divisions for a while yet. So we're getting a lot more units once again onto the map. These are all brigades, so I don't actually want to get them there. I'll just wait until I can move the mount units. I think that's more fruitful than what's going on right now. This one is frozen. I don't see anything else here that's worth moving for the moment. I'll just keep things like that on the northern front. Seems like it's fine. No real need to worry about it. All right, I'm gonna go and take a look at what I can do in the near future, but I mean, I'm relatively happy with how things are going on the southern front at the moment. The one nice thing about this is also at least that, like I said, my opponent is not going to be able to take Kharkov at least for quite a while. And I don't think this shows any, yeah. And then the funny thing is this is still a plus like that. I don't know specifically how that works because, well, my opponent never took it, so I'm not sure. Maybe it's because I took them back already. I already got the bonus for myself, or my opponent has lost the points. You could see it like that too. Maybe. Yeah, I'm not sure. And then, but then you would think, because my opponent never took Stalino, this is also going down in points, like Rostov. So that's very weird. I don't know why that still shows a 10+6. And we go to the victory screen. I guess my opponent got 3 bonus points for Zaporozhye, 5 for Talon, 1 for Smolensk here. But if like, he should not get any bonus points for Stalino, obviously. The target is turn 18, which we're already past. Same for Kursk, or else 15, so you'll also not get points for that. He will not get to Rostov. Yeah, so I indeed don't know how that works. I guess if my opponent never captures it, we're supposed to be getting the most, well... we'll see how it goes. Yeah, we get full bonus for Smolensk and Dnipropetrovsk because we retook them miles in advance, in a sense. We took them retook them earlier. So I guess that's fair, in a way. Okay. I don't really want to say anything about that necessarily. That's a pretty weak push, ultimately. I guess I'm moving back. I'll be curious to see what my opponent does there. Now, I cannot do any kind of encirclement or something of the sort, clearly. I'm not even sure whether I should do anything else. This is like I said, it's a really weak attack here. Heavy losses, unfortunately. Again, the only thing it helps with is having my opponent not have any fortifications, or not many. And how badly do I want to attack these? I guess after that I'm going to take a bit of a break. Let's move you at the very least. I think too that if I assign some support, that might actually push this attack a little bit further. It's against Romanians. I don't have that much trust in it, but 105, okay. You know, ultimately I don't even think it's that bad. We took quite heavy losses, but I did get that to 0. So I don't think it looks that bad, and even if we only just gave the Romanians a bloody nose, it's a 3-to-1 ratio. I lost 30 tanks too. Yeah, I went to a 43. So it was never really in the cards. Alright, I'm taking a break. I'll be back. Alright, back. Let's take a look. I've dealt with everything here, and that means I have only the things on the ground kind of left. Let's also turn that off and go to this. Yeah, not necessarily. How many units do I have in there? A lot. And let's get you off of refit. Refit and refit. They don't have all that many combat points, but as I said earlier, I want all my units at least to be at or I'm trying to at least have the frontline units to be at 10,000. And I know that my units will suffer attrition. So that's why I gotta keep changing them. Some of them actually take losses of up to 1,000 a turn. It's quite a lot. I haven't changed you in quite a while. This should be under 20 seconds. Then put you under the Luga Operational Army. And move them in here. And this at least keeps them up to strength reasonably well. So I don't need to worry that much. And my opponent is also suffering attrition. Maybe not that much, and that's all well and fine. But I certainly need to take care of my units, and I have to be quite careful. I really also don't want to do it if, especially during the winter, moving my units is not great. So I also really only want to move them whenever that might be necessary. You're actually in good shape. These guys are also in reasonable shape, 82%. I don't feel like it's worth it to take them out. You're part of 55th Army too. Okay, so that's good. I'll put you in there. My opponent is not that likely to attack at this point, even here, since it is an 80 and the winter, well, the weather is not super bad for my opponent yet. There is, he's actually getting plenty of supplies here. So that is fine though. I'm not not too concerned. We'll switch up some units here, namely these guys. And these, because 96 TOE is good. And then you can go in here and refit. Alright, so this is still only level 20. They're gonna dig in very slowly, I'd wager. Especially now. But I guess things are fine. All of these are ready now. Let's get one here. If I don't have rows of 3, certainly do want to fill them up. I'm actually going to get the mountain cavalry out of here. I don't think the cavalry has any business being here, to be completely honest. I'll move them here for the moment and keep them on the rail. I'll see if I'm going to put them down. Not necessarily, but okay, I got a bunch more divisions, but I'm most likely just going to send those divisions south. I don't need them in the north, and I'm really busy with this offensive, where I think they'll be duly needed. So let's start moving them. And there are also more units over here. I also need more units for the offensive over on this side. No more units there. I'm also going to send all 3 of these further down. Even if they can't actually support the offensive necessarily, then they can still at least start working on the rail line there. Or something like that. So that's also not necessarily a bad deal, I think. I did already switch these guys up, but they should certainly be on refit. And my opponent pushed me away from those hexes. Unfortunately, that means I will not be able to stay on there, especially since most of these guys are quite weak. Let's get what are you on? 71, 70. Okay, I'm actually gonna get all 3 of these away from that hex, and I'm gonna move all 3 of them in there. There we go. And let's get this tank division there. And these 2 tank divisions too. I have all of them on refit at Torjok. Then all of these infantry are also in pretty bad shape. This is a pretty weak line, but my opponent does not seem to be too interested in attacking either way. So... especially now, I think. So I guess we'll be fine. For the foreseeable future. And yeah, these guys are fine too. Let's get you out. Wing at 2000. That cannot be good. Let's put you in there. So it's probably a pretty reasonable time to refit most of these units. Since I don't think my opponent is going to attack now, and so I might as well. Especially on weak infantry like these, where I do have a chance now to take care of it. Now that I know my opponent will not get to Moscow in the foreseeable future, I can also go and refit those cavalry units to good health now. They're actually doing reasonably well already. There's no need to do that. I'm gonna get these two cavalries, and I'll also be sending them over to this area. Okay. Next. I do have these. Get them into Narofominsk. We have these. Let's get them over there too. It's funny that these guys are actually quite powerful here. But this already gives me a lot higher CV and 3, 3, 3, 4. Come on. Daddy needs a new pair of shoes. Alright, that sucks. It's also a very powerful unit. But I guess a 3-to-1 ratio is also okay. That's not the worst, I guess. This mechanized unit is now probably unready. No, it's still ready, huh? Alright, that's fine. I will switch up a few units to keep the defense reasonable. And that'll be that. And yeah, they don't have any fortification level anymore, I guess. They did send out some planes, not really sure why. That's probably a bad idea because they'll lose a lot of planes there. I don't really mind that, but yeah, they can do whatever they feel like there. That's never gonna end well. Let's put you on ready, already. Which units do I want to switch? Certainly the 369th. Then now you can go here for refitting, being at 64%. Those are 3 are okay. I can get you out and the Latvian Rifle Division in. I'll probably lose a lot there too. You're on refit, but you can move here. What I need to do is get those guys which are at 100 quite a bit closer. I keep them on ready here for the moment, because if I want to attack here, then I want to exploit it with my armor. It's going to be difficult because it's heavy woods. But then I do need those guys to already move there. Okay, let's take a look. I need you to move back at the Zukinishki because my attack failed quite heavily here. I'll put you here to hold that line because I have no ready units here. Put you under the Brienz front. But they are going to refit. Heavy attacks over here. I guess I have the defensive line ready. Are you on ready? You are ready, but let's switch you up with the other guys. My opponent is more likely to attack this. And there's a serious opening here now. Now, one thing I could do is I could plug it with cavalry, which is probably the best approach, or this motorized. So then at least I have something. These guys are also very weak. Do I have a supply depot there? Yes, I do. Refit. Is this just an infantry division, huh? Is there a depot there? I guess there is. Can fill that up, which is also not super amazing. Okay, so I'm sending reinforcements to the area. But I do feel like I've opened up this area for my opponent to start exploiting it. Oh, that's nice. 64th Army is gonna go in here, get off of the train. How's Brienne's front doing? Way too overburdened. How's Central Front doing? Slightly less bad. Oh crap, it's not Central Front. Why? Central Front really closer? I really need to fix that up next turn then. Fine. Either way, I can let it take care of some units next turn in the center here. 61st is too far at the moment. I also cannot let my opponent see that this is exposed. Rather have it he cannot see which unit is there. Or something along that line. It doesn't even have to be a very strong unit. As long as my opponent is inconvenienced at least a little bit there, that's probably good. And I should probably send more units there, like the 152nd Rifle. And these are Moscow units. I'd rather actually keep them at Moscow. But I'll send the 321st. Oh, not here. It's Workers Moscow. And send it here. Get it off of the train. I will keep a unit at Bryansk at the very least. I think that should work out well enough either way. There we go. So like I said, I'll keep those guys on Moscow. Let's send the 15th Mechanized. Further down to Kharkov, and I can launch another attack. Like this. Really? Wow. Sometimes I'm really amazed. I got a 10-to-1 advantage. That's really rough. They're a relatively small unit though, even then. Right, let's at least plug the gap. Even if it's only cavalry. Let's spread these out too. I know that as a defense it's pretty weak like that. And they can easily just go here and not have them cut off. I'm also well aware of that. This is just making it annoying for them, being in a tough position. How are things at Kharkov? Unready, unready. So let's unload. I'll move you in there and refit. Do I have any? Yeah, okay, that's why you're on refit there. Fair enough. I got quite a bit of cavalry that got trounced there. So I'll be somewhat struggling to make a line there. You're unready. I also have to be somewhat careful there. Do I have units that... No, they had not been on the rail. I need units to fit this. Whatever unit is going there is most likely going to get beaten back either way. I don't know, maybe my opponent does not feel like attacking. Could be. Not quite sure whether moving into that hex is going to be such a great idea. Could try it here, like they might attack with these. But what units do I have that might stand up to it? 80th rifle is at 55. Many of these units are currently in a very poor state. Now let's see. And I would put another unit in there. Most certainly. The closest is this, and I do want to actually have a depot there. Right, let's just put you in there. It's not the best defense, but again, maybe my opponent doesn't push the attack. That's still a 1.6. I'm also not inclined to attack that. It's gonna be November 30th. But I really want to keep my opponent off of his toes. Currently. I'll just keep destroying more rail, and my opponent having to move armor into places like that, it must be not too amazing. I don't even know if he has rail lines up here. He might. And I don't really expect to be able to encircle anything else at any given point. But if I can get these into Sumi. No. Okay, that's fine. Put you on a 27th Army. They should still acquire more combat prep points, huh? I also didn't think that's necessarily the most useful. One of the things I can do is try to create a new front line here somewhere. For the moment. In here, there's nothing in here though, so it's not necessarily the greatest. I'm surprised they even cannot go in there, but fair enough. I will also not be able to encircle these guys on the next turn either way. The other attack also did not succeed, so I don't see this necessarily succeeding either way. Did I try to attack there before? Oh, he attacked with 3 units. I mean, I don't want to be a party pooper, but let's move. Oh, let's move you here. Unit with 5,000 men. I'm happy that they are ready, but I don't think they can do a whole lot. Okay. So a bunch of reinforcements coming in there. Which I also need. I'm gonna lose a lot of units just by moving around here. I can see myself losing 60, 80, 100,000 men. No problem. Yeah. Really confused about guys like these, like as if they did not attack. Could try again. With more powerful units. Three to 1. Let's see if I can give them some powerful support units too. Doesn't have to be super powerful, but it might help. Now it's an actual 3 to 1. Alright, let's go. Did succeed this time. So that's very nice. And also got quite a few bombers in the process, which I'm also pleased about. Yeah, that's great. Now, something that is interesting to think about now is, am I gonna try and hold that? Because I could try and get some pretty reasonable units in there, but unfortunately it does have to be mobile units, because I cannot get any infantry in there for sure. No, clearly not. This again forces some of my opponent's units maybe to move, or he'll have to get an infantry down, or something like that. $15.20. Well, we'll see. Ideally, I will also beef up the flanks, because if my opponent decides to get frisky, I'd be in trouble. So there we go. We'll see what he does. He will likely do a pretty concerted attack there, but I want to keep my opponent on the edge here. I can't attack these guys even after that retreat, which is also fair, but Yeah, it went from... It's interesting because the first time it had 18,000 and it 515, but it actually had almost 2,000 less here. Maybe it's because there are less support units or different support units. I mean, yeah, this is just motorized flag battalion, so it shouldn't be that specific. But, yeah, I'm looking for any kind of manpower loss on my opponent's side wherever I can push for it, really. I do aim to be quite aggressive in this game, actually. And do I want to attack here already? Right, I actually think I want to wait a turn, get them really close. And I think probably push red on the next turn. Okay. All right, it's one big mess everywhere. But let's try and hold along the Desna. I could actually even just try to then work something out along this side here. It just gives me a good starting point for any, you know, either future offensives on my side or on my opponent's side. I guess for 1942, did get that one unit there. I'm really happy about that. Rebuilding infantry divisions is, I guess, not too great if he has to start doing it already, and replacing 200 guns is probably going to be difficult. Although, basically with the low amount of losses each side has taken for now, I'm sure it won't be that bad. Alright, 10th Army. There we go. Will I get a new army or something of the sort soon? I might. I did. No, this is next turn. So 44th Army will come next turn, and the turn after that I will get another 2 armies. Not very good. Looking at losses for this turn, Axis losses almost as high as Soviet losses here. So I'm actually quite happy about that. In a way, I'm looking to get German forces below 3 million, but that might be a bit of a too much of an expectation. And since he's stabilizing the line already, that especially here I have to be really careful. I can see him break through and then I might be in trouble. It would have to be cavalry work, and Stuff like that might get nasty real fast. Okay, so we're looking to get a bit more firepower here. I don't think he'll break that far. More likely he'll just try to dig in or something, or cut me off down here. I don't see him making a push this side, because I don't think he has the units, nor do I think these guys will have what it takes together to move through here and cut me off, say. It's not nice, but let's put you there for a zone of control. I'd actually rather have a unit at Kunatop, but this is mostly just a raid. I'm not expecting anything particular from this, except destruction of rail lines and stuff like this. This is probably his forward rail unit as well, but getting back the rail from this side doesn't help if I'm cutting it off on this side for the moment. Good job, buddy. Actually, holding this port now is really useful then. Alright, I'll ship it back. And we'll see what my opponent does. Thanks for watching. Take care. See you next time.